you've done that, what you can do, you can go to filters and then blur and then go down to zoom blur. And then straight away, bang, comes out. And you've got that central bit there. And you can also move that around. So you can create some very interesting designs simply by moving that around, the origin point. And also, always remember to click apply. I've been doing this, running through a few tutorial runs through. And of course, as always, sometimes I always forget. And as soon as you forget, it will remove the effect. It will just basically cancel. So if you want that effect, click apply. So you've got your design there. And of course, you can then move around. But you'll notice you've gone over the edge, you've got that lovely cut-off point. So try and avoid that. So the best way I would find is always have a smaller shape. So you go for a very small shape, and then you go to filters, blur, and zoom blur, and you can see the effect there. And of course, once you've got that design, you've got a lovely sort of going off there, click apply. And of course, what you can do, you can hold down the Alter Option key, or you can go to a layer, and you can duplicate. You've got that duplicate design there. And you can hold down, I'm just going to do the old Alter Option, but you can see you can create all kinds of different abstract designs simply by doing that. Just move that around. And also what you can do, it's a layer, just a standard layer. You go to there and you can run through like difference, linear light, and so on and so on. And you can obviously increase that like that. So let's just go back to, this time to a star. I'm going to go with a star, so star tool, and just quickly create a star. There's a star there. With a star, you can change the number of points. Also, there's other settings as well, inner radius, etc. So you can modify that if you want. And also, once you've done that, you can use the zoom blur. So filters, blur, and zoom blur. There's zoom blur. And you can see what happens. You get this lovely effect. It creates lovely sort of designs like that. You can see. And also, again, you can still move that around. So you can create that sort of combination. And once you've got that again, what you can do, hold down the Alter Option key and you can duplicate that design. Now, maybe you might want different colours. So you can actually combine. So you've got this design. Now, it's a pixel layer. One thing, when you do undo, what happens is an in-between bit where it turns it into a pixel. And that's a state as well. So undo, so it goes back to a star. And you can see that in the layers. As long as it says bracket, star, bracket, then it is back to a vector design. Hold down the Alter Option key, and now once you've done that, what you can do, you can say, oh, let's go for green. So I'll go for green and orange. So I can go to filters, I can go to then blur, and then zoom blur. And again, you can apply zoom blur, you can modify these settings, and you can set it to maybe 100, doesn't have to be 200, set it like that, or maybe 400 or 800. So you go for 800, even more dramatic, and you can still move that around. Click apply. So you've got that, and of course what you can, oops, don't want to do that, go to that star, and you can do the same. So you can go to filters. Unfortunately, the repeat zoom blur is not available. So what you do, then down to zoom blur, and again, because it's set to 800, it's completely vanished. You can see it again if you just move that around. What you can do, you can put it down to 200, say, so you can see it. So you can see the star design there. Click apply. And then now, of course, again, it's layers. You can still use blending mode, so you can run through blending modes, maybe difference, and so on and so on. And again, that you can also do, go to blending modes there. Well, that one looks quite nice. So you've got there, that's pin light. And of course, you've got that, and you can change the colour. So you don't have to have that colour. You maybe go through the colours, maybe go for blue, and you can see you can create potentially some unusual effects, depending, of course, on all the blending modes above. So I'm just going to remove that now. Don't want that. What I want now is to go back to the star. Instead of using the star, I'm just going to use that. But this time, I'm going to go and reduce that down a bit, not 21. Let's just put it down to about there. And set the colour something different from the background. And then what I can do, I can go over here to points. So let's just go for a few more points than before. 47. That's a reasonable number of points. So 47 points. What you can do, still go to filters and blur, and then go down to zoom blur. You've got zoom blur, and you can see then you end up with some very interesting sort of designs like that. Then you click apply. What you can also do, you can go to effects. So go over to effects, there's the effects, and I'm just going to go, let's just go down to bevel and emboss. and just this side here, or you could of course use these. Let's just quickly, I'm just going to use the stars. Let's just run through those very quickly. So you can see just by using the stars you can find some interesting designs. Maybe not, but I thought just quickly try them. So let's just go back to what I was going to do, which is this one. So just click there, and then you can go, say, for inner, maybe go down to radius. You can increase that, change the angle there, change the profiles, and so on and so on. So you can create all kinds of different designs using that star design. And you can do soften, outer, and so on and so on. Click OK. Right, I don't want that, but you can see zoom blur can be used to create loads of great designs, but you can do a little bit more as well. So I'm going to remove that now. And of course what you can do, you've got the star design, but you can also combine it with other shapes as well. So let's just increase that, and then maybe let's go for another one. Maybe donut tool. Why not donut tool? So donut tool, and then what you can also do before you do that, you can apply effects to that. So let's just quickly apply effects to this. So let's just go for one. Yeah, something like that. So you got that design. So you got that. Now you can apply the zoom blur. So zoom blur, blur, and zoom blur. And you can see the effect then. You end up with this very weird. However, of course, you can still move this around, and you can see then you've got this lovely sort of unusual effect there. Actually, I'm just going to not use the donut. I'm just going to go, let's just apply that to that, just because I thought, interesting. So filters, blur, and zoom. Helps. Zoom blur, filters, blur, and zoom blur. And you can see then you get this very nice actual sort of effect there. And again, you can still rotate and move that around, and you can still change this setting here as well. Maybe go for 800. Probably fills the entire screen, and you can see the effect applied like that. Maybe a bit too extreme. Click apply. And again, you can still hold down the Alt or Option key, duplicate it, multiple other things. And of course, what you can also do, you've got this effect here. You can always simply go to filters and deform, distort and deform, always one of my favorite go-to effects, and you can apply that to this. And you can see you can distort that design. Now, what you're seeing is the effect distorted there. But what I want is actually the effect also to be deformed. So what you need to do, go to layer and then rasterize. So you go to rasterize, and it says here, preserve layer effects. Well, I don't want to preserve layer effects. I want to actually make it all one thing. So that's one thing. Now, what you can then do, filters, and again, go down to distort and deform. And you can just quickly distort this design. And you can create all kinds of really weird and wonderful shapes that way. And of course, once you've done that, of course, what you can do, you can still use the good old zoom blur. So filters, blur, and again, zoom blur. And that can be added on top of that. And of course, clearly, that is no longer a shape anymore. But you can see the possible effects. I really love these sort of with the lines, with the zoom blur. It really creates some very interesting possible combinations of things. So click apply, and again, hold down the Alt or Option key, and you can duplicate that design on top of that, rotate it. There's clashes of lines all over the place. Just drag that there. And of course, you can also still use blending mode. So let's just go to layers, and you could see, you could continue forever for this. Anyway, hope you found this tutorial of interest. Always adding new tutorials all the time about Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer, Publisher, Photoshop, Illustrator, and many others. Also, if you've got any questions, please let me know. Always great to hear any comments. Maybe I did something wrong, went too far, and I think I went a bit too far going there. However, a dislike or like, always appreciated either way. Thank you much.